We brought a story to you a few days ago about Mississippi, the state of Mississippi, giving millions of dollars to millionaires, while their state is the poorest state in America, and they have an infrastructure problem that continues to get worse. Jackson, Mississippi has no clean water, but Republicans in Mississippi are giving millions of dollars to people like Brett Favre. Let's go ahead and do it. Initially, when we brought you this story, good old Brett said, hey, I really wasn't that involved, and I returned the money. Okay, hands off here. FBI came one time, questioned me one time, and that's it. I did nothing wrong. We got the receipts from Brett Favre. He was more involved than he mentioned. So let's go ahead and put up the picture here. Let's tell the story, the true story. Text messages suggest the NFL legend Brett Favre and former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant were eager participants in a scheme to divert money meant for poor children. Now, remember, this money was welfare money set aside for children in poverty. You see those two white gentlemen you're looking at? Those are what we call welfare kings. Okay? They got a bunch of money from welfare. The text messages entered Monday into the state's ongoing civil lawsuit over the welfare scandal reveal that former Governor Phil Bryant pushed to make NFL legend Brett Favre's volleyball idea a reality. Just left Brett Favre, it says. Bryant texted nonprofit founder Nancy New in July of 2019. Within weeks of Davis's departure, can we help him with this project? We should meet soon to see how I can make sure we keep your projects on course. Phil B. Sale just left Brett Favre. Can we help him, etc. Now, when Favre asked the question to Bryant, how the new agency director might affect their plans to fund the volleyball stadium, Bryant assured him, I will handle that, he said. Long story, but had to make a change. But I will call Nancy and see what it will take, according to the filing and a text Favre forwarded to New. There's a lot of off-record conversation. They're concerned about a new director. The new director, he may not be down with the program. What are we going to do here, boss? Let's put this picture up. This is interesting. Nancy New. So they were also texting there was a text between Favre, Nancy New, showing that Bryant, Favre, New, Davis, and others actually worked together to channel at least $5 million of the state's welfare funds to build a new volleyball stadium at University of Southern Mississippi, where Favre's daughter played the sport. Favre received most of the credit for raising funds to construct the facility. Well, damn. So, Brett, you don't have $5 million? Okay. You got to take $5 million from a welfare budget, allocate it to an institution that your daughter attends, and then take all of the credit as if you made the contribution yourself. Knew a friend, Bryant's wife, Deborah, ran a nonprofit that was in charge of spending tens of millions of flexible federal welfare dollars outside of public view. What followed was the biggest public fraud case in state history. According to the state auditor's office, nonprofit leaders had misspent at least $77 million in funds that were supposed to help the needy, according to the forensic auditors. New has pleaded guilty to 13 felony counts related to the scheme, and Davis awaits trial. But Bryant, the former governor, nor Favre have been charged with anything. You do realize if this was, let's say, a former black NFL player, this would be a totally different narrative. Now, you mean to tell me that everybody else is going to trial, pleading guilty, about to get indicted, except for Brett Favre and the former governor? Why? Favre, if you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? That's what Favre wrote. That was his message. Listen, I get it. The guy has a lot of fans out here. I don't give a damn about his sporting legacy. The man said, if you pay me, will it be traced to me? Who says something like that if everything is on the up and up? Who in the hell? That's a drug dealer conversation. Listen, if we do this exchange and you give me this money, make sure it doesn't trace back to me. Okay? It's a drug deal. Miss News says, and I quote, no, we never have had that information publicized. I understand you being uneasy about that, though. Let's see what happens on Monday with the conversation with some folks at Southern. Maybe it will click with them, hopefully. Favre says, okay, thanks. You can't even keep your damn text messages private, sir. You think you're going to be able to keep over $1 million that they just gave to you private? You all are not thinking with your brain here. You're thinking with your greed. That's why this happened. And you decided not to think about the people that you were taking the money from. $77 million of spent money illegally, unlawfully. Do you know how much money the whole state of Alabama has for infrastructure repairs? $71 million. That's it. They literally allowed individuals to give away $77 million of state budget funds when they don't even have enough money to take care of their own infrastructure. There's more. Ms. New says, wow, I just got off the phone with Phil Bryant. He is on board with us. We will get this done. Yes, Phil Bryant, Favre is just as corrupt as you are and me. We are going to get this done. This is now going to happen. We're going to get paid. Favre says, awesome. I needed to hear that for sure. NFL Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe has something to say about this. I agree with my dear brother, Shannon Sharpe. Here's a video.
I talked to people that was in the room when Brett Favre went into the Hall of Fame, and nobody mentioned about text messages that he sent to that jet masseuse. Nobody mentioned anything about the addiction that he suffered from. But yet T.O., they brought up everything. Can you imagine if T.O. would have had an incidents like Brett Favre off the field? T.O. still to this day right now would not be in the Hall of Fame. Yet they walked right past it like Brett Favre did nothing.
That is true. I give you that.
The problem that I have with this situation, you got to be a sorry mofo to steal from the lowest. Mississippi is the poorest state in our country.
It is.
Its citizens. So if they're the poorest state, Brett Favre is taken from the underserved. You made $100+ million in the NFL. This is what we know. Scared when black and brown people do fraud the government, they hell bent. You get an EBT card or you get WIC or you get stuff like that, boy, they move heaven and earth to try to put you in jail for $400 little measly dollars.
Fact.
Now this man done took $1 million and they sitting around like, well, you know, it happened and we'll see. And they're going to get more money and do it all over again. The biggest criminals, the people that steal the most, look like that. But he's been a sleazeball. He's been shady for a very, very long time.
Shannon Sharpe, drop mic, exit stage left. Well said. I have nothing to add. Yasmin, thoughts here.
How are you going to make me follow that?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't care about football, so I don't care how many touchdowns or passes or whatever Brett Favre has to his name. I don't know. But I really can't respect anyone who intentionally takes money from children and from impoverished people. You mentioned that Mississippi is the poorest state in the entire union, and it ranks poorly in so many other metrics when compared to other states. And the water crisis and the infrastructure crisis that we're seeing in its capital city right now is a prime example of the state's systemic failures. The state is literally named after the mighty Mississippi River, a river that makes up the entirety of its eastern border, and they have a water crisis. It's unbelievable. And the fact that the former governor was involved in this scheme just goes to show that the state's government has its priorities in absolutely the wrong place. Corruption runs deep in schemes like this, and just the fact that they were wary of people who might not be down with the scheme proves that. You have to deliberately rid the system of non-compliant people in order to successfully pull something like this off. So they knew what they were doing. The text messages prove that, and they shouldn't be given any kind of leeway there, especially not on the grounds of touchdowns or whatever. I don't know, touchdowns, passes.
Yeah, you got that right. Right sport.